it are due to be given on Tuesday. Dr. June Rain said everyone should be confident in the jab and it could help the country turn the corner in the fight against the pandemic.
The highest standards of scrutiny of safety and of effectiveness and quality have been met, international standards. And so there should be real confidence in the rigour of our approval. More than that, our Commission on Human Medicines has scrutinised every piece of data too. So there should be no doubt whatever that this is a very safe and highly effective vaccine.
Well, let's talk to Dr. Bharat Pankhania, who is the Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. And I really appreciate your time to talk to us about this issue. Dr. Pankhania.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What an issue it is as well. After all we've been through, there are still question marks about the vaccine, as you know. Do you agree with Dr. June Rain there that there is nothing to worry about?
I do, but my supplementary is, and therefore we are going to make sure that we reassure members of the public. And the additional conversation, which would also have been nice, I know they're going to do it, but it is good to say it so that people feel reassured. And the saying it is as follows: we are going to follow up a large representative sample of the population after they have been immunized, so that we know we do not find unexpected, unusual, or something different outcomes after they have been immunized. And I know they're going to do it, but it's good to communicate this.
Indeed, that would be one of the issues, wouldn't it? That they keep tabs on people who've taken the vaccine after it's been taken to see if there are any adverse effects. Essentially, that's what you're talking about, is it?
That's what I'm talking about, and I know they're going to do it. It's better to say it, so because there's a lot of anxiety with members of the public about what next.
Part of the anxiety, as far as I understand it anyway, anecdotally, this is not scientific, part of the anxiety has been about the speed at which this vaccine has arrived and the relative speed at which, the government is coming out and saying, take it, take it, take it, take it. Is that normal? Can you understand why people might be anxious about that?
I'm again very, very sensitive that this is not normal. But if I may add, whilst it is not normal to get a vaccine within less than a year, this is a fantastic outcome. And the reason why we have a fantastic outcome is not because corners were cut, but more because it was a bottomless pit of money, and the bureaucratic hurdles that come in our way from going from concept to phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. There are so many bureaucratic hurdles and lack of money, lack of funding, lack of interest that makes these vaccines take many, many years to come to fruition. Whereas in this case, money was no problem, and all those little nightmare hurdles of recruiting people to do the experiments with, etc., was enabled. And it just shows what you can achieve if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, bottomless pit of money, that's one thing. But the speed, it seems like there were two races going on. First of all, there was a much publicized race to find a vaccine, with Oxford competing with America, competing with Russia, and
yes,
all different places. So that was one race, as it were. And it seems that America won that race and Oxford came slightly behind it, although President Putin would say actually Russia won the race. But leave that aside. The second race has been for governments to approve any vaccine. And it seems that we have won that race hands down. How? How on earth did a little country like us in the North Sea, or if you like, on the edge of the Atlantic, how did we become the first country in the world to approve a vaccine?
Well, I think we should throw away this concept of we are all racing towards being superior compared to others.
How would you describe
a global effort.
This
is a global effort.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to come to it. So one way, and I do this, by the way, Dotun, I do this in my own operations. So let me share with the listeners what I would do and what I do, and therefore I am ahead of the curve in my operations. So if I know that something is coming my way, I prepare my staff, my team, my people with all the things that I need to manage this outbreak, for example. So we get ready with the data collectors, the data analysts, the data processors, and all those important people that I know well before it is presented to me. So when it is finally presented, I already have all those little doors wide open, ready to dwell onto what's happening, and then be able to therefore process it very quickly but safely. This is very, very important. Whilst it is quick and fast, it has to be safe and good governance. So that's how you can, if you again open up all those doors, speedily come to a decision without allowing too many procrastinations of yes, but no, but yes, but, etc. And so whilst this isn't a race, it is an example of good coordinated operations.
Failure to prepare is preparation to fail, isn't it?
Absolutely right. You're spot on. Yes.
However, nobody wants to be the guinea pig. And again, this is anecdotal. People have said to me, I'd rather another country was first and we saw what happened to that population when they were given the vaccine, and then we came second. If this isn't a national race, it's a global race, but we'd just like to be slightly behind the gold medalist.
Yes, but Dotun, I would say all very well, but here lives are at stake. And remember, the older you are, the greater the risk if you were to catch a coronavirus infection. So I honestly feel it shouldn't be a race, but I also like to refer people to the empirical biology of how these viruses work. And I have looked at it and looked at it and looked at it again, and as have many fellow scientists. And the breakthrough is these messenger RNAs do one thing and one thing only, which is they go into your cell cytoplasm, tell your cell cytoplasm to make the spike protein, which your body's immune system then discovers and recognizes that it is a foreign protein, and then makes antibodies against it and immune memory. And that's all it does, no more, no less. And that is how the mRNA vaccines work. So having considered it, thought about it, reflected on it, I think, wow, this is a marvelous breakthrough. And I can see that it will work, and it will work safely.
And thankfully, Dr. Pankhania, thankfully, most people agree with you. Thankfully, there's no issue for most of us. But nevertheless, for this to work, it needs a certain number of people to take the vaccine, doesn't it?
Yes.
It needs certain amounts of what were they calling it? Herd immunity.
Herd immunity.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, for it to work. And you said the lives are at stake here. So does that mean that if enough of us take this, lives will be safe?
Oh, without a doubt, without
Yeah?
a doubt. And,
Yeah?
Doughton, I'm not even considering or worrying about the people who refuse to take it. It is their free choice, and let it be. Because I feel if we get our communication right and we are sincere and honest and enable independent doctors like myself to say so, because I have no pressure from anyone to take any particular line, and I'm so grateful that I happen to be an independent person. So we need that clear, helpful conversations, and then people can say, you know what, I'll take it. But I am reasonably confident that we have so many people who, provided we communicate well, will take it, that I will have to spend less energy persuading other people that you too should also take it. So I think with just the willing and the keen people, we will tip the 60+% quite easily.
Dr. Pankhania, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Real pleasure speaking to Dr. Bharat Pankhania there, Senior Clinical Lecturer at the University.
Thank you, Dr. Pankhania. That was great.